Welcome to episode 46 of the Burning Ewok podcast. I'm your host, as always, Justin Granz, and with me is...
It's Chuck
and
Dan.
and Dan.
Can I go by Nad today in honor of Luthen?
You could go by... Sure.
I'm going as Nad in honor of Luthen. Did you catch that?
Nad?
Yeah,
No,
well,
I didn't
not
catch
Nad, but he's Sergeant. So we're going right into it. He's Sergeant Lear.
Yeah, Lear, which is
and
his last name, backwards.
Rail, right?
So you're Nad, Dan.
Mhm.
I got
Right,
it.
I
So
see.
we're flipping it. I got
Yeah,
it.
okay.
I didn't make the U connection in there. I was just trying to think, but yeah, I did catch that.
So, yeah, all right. Well, we'll get into that. But first, before we get into any of that, Dan, you saw Thunderbolts, I think. The
I
movie.
did.
I thought it was the new Avengers. I had heard that it was that they changed the title.
Avengers asterisk. New Avengers asterisk, right? That's what the end credit thing is, right?
No, it's Thunderbolts asterisk New Avengers.
Okay. There you go.
I saw it as well.
There you go.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
Yeah, so you didn't see it yet, Chuck?
No, I haven't had the pleasure. No, I've had a very busy week. So
I want to talk about two things about it. One, my movie theater experience,
okay.
and then two, the movie. So my movie theater experience. So my boys decided we had like the weekend off because of graduation, so no baseball. So my boys were like, "Let's go to the theater and go see Thunderbolts." So I said, "Sure, why not?" So the girls didn't want to go, so me, Tris, and Braden went. So I buy tickets to Regal, and we get there. I buy my popcorn and my drinks. I go. They scan my ticket on my phone, and they go, "You're at the wrong theater, sir." So I was on the website, and I added the tickets to my cart, and then I hit checkout, and it made me sign in. And when I signed in, it changed the theater location back to the default, which the default picked up like downtown Chicago.
Oh no!
So I'm in Regal, and we got there late as it was, but I can't remember why we were just late. Braden went to go play disc golf, and so he got back late, and we were whatever. So anyways, I'm like, oh crap, what do I do? And so I just walked over there. The manager at Regal in Crystal Lake here just took care of us. Like, he's like,
That's
yeah,
awesome.
no problem. We're just gonna do it. And he's like, our theater's a little more expensive than that theater. He's like, don't worry, we're gonna take care of it. So he switched them out.
Wait. The Crystal Lake Theater is more expensive than the Chicago Theater?
Yes.
What?
Yep. It was
Wow.
like $2 a ticket more here than downtown.
Bunch of savages.
Doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense.
No.
I don't know.
But okay,
that doesn't
because
track.
they got to compete with like Marcus Theaters and stuff down there. I don't know.
Maybe.
So anyways, he switches them out, and he gave me, it was my mistake. I'm like, dude, I'm sorry. It was totally my screw up. And he was like, don't worry. He's like, he gave me 2 free tickets
Nice.
to see any other
Oh,
movie.
that's pretty cool, man.
A really cool experience, but I gotta say, there were 7 people in the theater at 7:00 on a Saturday night for that movie.
That sucks.
Nobody. So him giving away the ticket, which is awesome, like they're not making any money on these movies. There's no money in it.
I think it's going to make about 5. Well, it's making money. It's on the lower side because I think it'll end up over 500 million. It'll make its money back and then some.
Well, I can tell you is like COVID. Since COVID, there's no like Avengers.
Oh, movies in general are just the
movies
movie
in general,
theater. Yeah, because just like I worry because if I don't catch a movie when it comes out, there's a chance a week later it's no longer there.
Yeah.
So I really want to
Yeah.
I really want to see Friendship when it goes wide on next week. I'm
Mhm.
worried it's going to go before I get an opportunity to see it just because I'm so busy. And then it's going to go and I'll end up watching it streaming in 3 weeks or whatever, which is nice. But I really like the theater experience.
Yeah.
I also really like Thunderbolts, by the way.
It
So,
did. It does jump to
Let's
small
talk
screen too fast.
The movie real quick, right? The movie, I told Justin, I think yesterday or this morning, it's solid B plus, right? I give it a solid B plus because the story and the villain's pretty original. Like the villain a lot. I know nothing about the comic book stuff. You don't need to go into the comic book stuff, but Sentry and the Void, pretty cool. It's a nice awareness piece on mental health and mental illness. So we get a little bit of that in there. Florence Pugh and David Harbour carry the movie. I mean, everybody else is fine in it. There's nothing really wrong with it, but it suffers from all of the worst Avengers cliches out there. Like, some of it's just really bad. Like the car chase scene when they're sitting in the back of the Red Guardian mobile and Walker's got a shield up while a 50 cal machine gun is fighting at them, and the machine gun hits nothing else other than the shield the entire time while they're driving, right? It's just so bad. Like all the other cliches also. Nobody can shoot anybody, like they're stormtroopers, right? These crack squads of military, they're stormtroopers. They can't hit shit except for that one bullet that takes somebody out, right? And then, just like,
can you tell me, can you give me like, this is going to go way longer than I wanted it to, but can you give me a movie where that doesn't happen? Like like a big blockbuster movie where that doesn't happen, let alone Marvel movies or comic book movies or anything like that. Because you can't.
I mean, sure, I probably could. I mean,
I don't know. You just said it. It's just like, I don't know. Like, I just didn't see that.
You're putting me on the spot for picking like a particular movie. I'll give you Sicario, right? So Sicario.
Okay. So like not a hero movie, not like a big action movie. Sicario is a drama.
It's 2020's 18, right? Yeah, is what it is, and it's. Yeah, it is.
I know, but like Lord of the Rings, like nobody dies except for like Boromir, and like a million arrows are shot at everybody except the heroes. The heroes don't die. I don't know. It's just
I mean that's the challenge.
It's like Stormtroopers. Actually, you know what? The Stormtroopers, like somebody did an analysis on Stormtroopers where they said, like, the joke is they can't hit anything, but in truth, the reality is, like, if you take all the shots that Stormtroopers shoot in the movies, their accuracy is actually incredibly good and better than most other movies where they have like battles and armies and things like that. And I want to find this video, and maybe I'll, like, if I can put a link to it or whatever, because they're obviously never going to shoot the heroes, but whenever they're shooting other stuff, they shoot it all the time, such as Brasso in, or if they're shooting, Gormans, they have pretty good accuracy. But
how many Marvel movies have there been now? What do you think? 40?
Somewhere around there, 35, somewhere in there.
It's just, all I'm saying is, and keep in mind, I gave the movie a B+, right, which I think is great for a Marvel movie. Outside of Avengers, and maybe
coming from you, that is high praise. I would say
it's pretty high praise from you,
because it's entertaining because of the banter of Florence Pugh and David Harbour, like pretty much throughout, right? It's the same thing I've been saying, right? It's just the 40th version of the same thing, right? So the humor, delivery, and the acting of Florence Pugh and David Harbour save this movie like big time. Otherwise, I think it would probably be a C+ without them. So, anyways, that's where I'm at with Marvel stuff.
I haven't seen it, but I've heard good things. Justin, what would you rate it? Like 3-star, 4-star?
It's probably a top 10 Marvel movie. It's in the top 25%.
Wow.
Well, if we say 40 movies, it's definitely in that top 10. I don't grade rating. I wouldn't say. I mean, my entire family loved it.
That's good.
Sentry is sucky in the comic. Like when I heard Sentry was in it, I'm like, ugh. Like, I don't know what they're gonna do there. But the way they put him in this movie is great. Florence Pugh could run the entire Marvel universe as far as I'm concerned. Like, she could be the new Tony Stark. Just let that character own it and be the leader of everything, because she's fantastic. David Harbour, good. Wyatt Russell, I really liked him. And I know you really liked Falcon and Winter Soldier. So this is kind of like, this is his redemption arc. The other characters, Ghost, Taskmaster, I don't want to say much about them. Not as not as impactful. But I think Juliette Lewis-Dreyfus might have been like my favorite part of it, though. Also, I actually like three favorite things. There were like three favorite things. I love her as the weasel villain, sort of wannabe politician that's kind of pulling the strings and doing stuff. I think that was really done well. Um, I loved Winter Soldier's, like, hey, Winter Soldier's back. That scene was great, which is the beginning of that car chase. When he comes in, that scene's fantastic. And then I love what this movie, as a superhero movie, does more than any other superhero movies do. And I can think of very few that actually do it. Is they actually do, because these are a bunch of screw ups, and they get
Mm-hmm.
their moment to become heroes, and they
Mm-hmm.
actually save humans like at ground level, and they're like going out of their way to like actually become heroes for like a good 15-20 minutes of the movie, and it's absolutely awesome. Like when they decide to take that turn, know where they're going, and just I love it. Like I think the one that does it best is probably Avengers 2, where Tony Stark's in the Hulkbuster suit and fighting the Hulk, and the Hulk's out of control, and Tony Stark is as much fighting the Hulk as he's like stopping things from crushing people. And the Spider-Man movies have all done a pretty good job of him saving people, whether it's been on a boat or whatever, that kind of stuff. But I like it when heroes save people. I just like that thing. We recently watched Superman, the original Donner Superman, because my son never saw it, and it'd been a long time since I'd seen it, and it had a lot of that vibe in there too. Man, that movie's dated though. It was dated much more than I thought it was gonna be. But wow, wow. If you get a chance, so I'm gonna watch 2 pretty soon because I got to get me some more of that. It was fun,
Yeah.
dated, questionable in some cases, and but it still has a charm to it, and I really liked it. And I really
Yeah.
love, and I'll tell you, man, like I like Christopher Reeve as Superman now than I liked him back then. Like it is just so like that refreshing. Like you watch it and you're like, damn it, this world needs Superman. So I'm really hoping that Superman pays off when it comes out in July. So that's my Thunderbolts thing.
Like I'm okay with Christopher Reeve. I'm okay with him, but I'm especially on rewatches. Not. I just don't like him as Superman.
Well, I think the third and the fourth movie are absolutely atrocious. Also,
Oh,
they're
Thor is the one
really.
he hated the most.
Oh
Christopher
yeah,
Reeve. Like
it's terrible.
he
It's
wanted to strike it from his resume.
yeah.
But
And
but even the first one, I mean, it's '80s movie making, so it's so
70s.
over the.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
the
it's
first one,
78.
1979.
Yeah,
Oh, 78, yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, it's that over the top overacting kind of style, which was really prevalent back then. Um, but yeah, no, I think like if Chuck, when you finally do see Thunderbolts, I think we should do like a one whole long segment on the movie. I'm gonna go back and rewatch it when it's on Disney Plus, and I'm gonna break it down, and I'm gonna take out all the scenes that I think were just totally unnecessary because there's so much that's unnecessary in the movie. You could probably cut it down to under an hour and 30 minutes, and it would have been a plus movie for me. Just the unnecessary Avengers cliche out of it,
Mm-hmm.
and it would still be top 5. It would probably be top 5 outside, and probably top 3 outside of the Avenger movies, right?
I'll make a date with my wife and go see it this as soon as we can.
Yeah.
And then,
Go
And then,
quick.
now,
Go
before
quick.
we go to
I don't know how much
Andor,
longer it's going to be there.
yeah, right.
can I shout out? Can I shout out 5 trailers? So there were 5 really good trailers that I saw over the weekend. So the Wes Anderson one, what's it called again?
The Philomia something,
Yeah.
Phoenician.
Braden
The
goes to me, dude, what the hell did I just watch? I said it's really weird, but it looks freaking amazing.
It looks great. It looks really good.
Yeah, Karate Kid Legends looks fantastic.
It looks fun.
It's going to be really cheesy,
It's
cheesy,
gonna be-
but it looks a lot of fun.
I told you my whole Cobra Kai thing on that one.
Yeah.
So I kind of have to watch that.
Yeah. Tron Ares, I finally saw the trailer for that. So Braden and Tristan are super hyped for Tron Ares.
That's funny
That
because
looked really cool, actually.
so like Will, my older son, he's just like, that looks so stupid, and I'm like, man, like 10-year-old me would be flipping the hell out at that trailer. Like,
Oh, yeah,
oh
dude.
my god, like
Tron
Tron
in the
in the world, whoa!
The new Superman trailer, I don't know when that hit, but
It's
I
about 2
finally
weeks ago.
saw it.
Yeah,
Yeah, so I finally saw the full new Superman trailer. That looks great. And then Ironheart trailer, man.
I've not seen it. I've not seen
I,
the Ironheart trailer.
I don't know. I'm not sold. I'm sure it's going to be great because is it
Coogler,
Dugan?
Ryan Coogler.
Coogler, yeah, Coogler. Is a really good director. Did he write it also?
He's like kind of, I don't know if he produced it. So he
Yeah,
put it all together and he's putting his name on it. So I think he feels pretty strongly about it.
so I'm
And
sure it'll be great.
his worst movie in his entire resume is Wakanda Forever, and that movie is not too bad.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So I
Well,
mean, considering what he
Oh,
had to
I-
work
I-
with.
I didn't think that movie was bad. No, that's not a bad.
No,
movie.
considering what he had to work with too. I mean, he had his star die,
Yeah.
and then figure out what to do and
Yeah.
pick up the pieces. So,
Yeah. So that's my trailer rundowns, right? So the Ironheart one didn't really. Just wanted to shout it out. Like, it didn't get me super excited, but I know it'll probably be pretty solid.
I'm hoping it looks like it's really relying on the magic stuff, which I thought was kind of cool. I know we'll finally get Mephisto, is my guess, with having the Red Hood in the trailer so much, and the connection with sorcery and everything. And I don't know. I guess it'll be like a technology versus magic type of thing. That could be fun. I don't know. They've been sitting on it for like a year and a half, though. It's been done for a long, long time. But so is Agatha all along. That sat for a long time, and
Well, there's another Marvel TV show that's been sat on for ages now.
Wonder
that's
Man?
coming out. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, they've had all this stuff, and they've
Did they
just.
release a trailer for that?
I think
Yeah.
that'll probably be after we
Coming
get
December.
Ironheart. They said it's
Yeah,
coming out in December.
December.
It is coming out. Wow, I thought
I would
they
like
would wait on
to.
it.
I would like to point out one other thing that had a trailer this week, and that would be a teaser for season 2 of Fallout to release in December.
Yeah, the teaser for the teaser.
Yeah. It was just like Vegas and then the ghoul looking at Lucy and Lucy looking back at the ghoul, and that was it.
I didn't see
I
that.
didn't see that. I haven't seen it.
That's all it was.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. And we got locked.
I think there was a
in
sign that
season
said like Vegas 100 miles. And that was it. It was a sign.
Okay, and we're locked in for season 3 now of it, so that's good.
That's good.
Yeah, that's really good.
Cool.
Man, I'm so jazzed. Like I don't really care for that time of year, November, December. It's very like, I don't know, I get through like seasonal depression, but I'm like so jazzed for December right now. I was like, this is the first time ever. I'm like, I can't wait till December.
When is Stranger Things season 5 coming?
Like June 8th, I think. I thought I saw June 8th.
Is it June?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, okay.
I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that was the date I saw.
I thought they always came out in October. It's October.
Oh,
it always
okay.
around
Where
Halloween.
the hell? What date was I looking at then? I don't know.
All right, I'm gonna direct this ship right back into Andor right now, because next week we're gonna have we're just gonna vomit out everything else that we've been doing besides Andor next week. All right.
Okay.
Because there's a
Sounds
lot
like
to
a
talk
plan.
about, and I mean, I'm like, ooh, I want to talk about that. I want to talk about that, and I'm not gonna right now. So I
Right.
want to talk, but I really want to talk about 10, 11, and 12 of Andor. Put a bow on it, and then I would like to talk about how it connects with Rogue One, and what you guys think of that.
I think we should do an entire episode on Rogue One.
We could do that as well
Because
too.
I wanted to watch it, and I did not get a chance to watch it.
Oh,
this week.
okay.
I
Well,
thought
then
we
you know
said
what?
we were gonna do it.
Let's save next week then for Rogue One.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, by the way, Chuck, it's June 10th is the Real Housewives of Miami.
Oh, that was the trailer. Yeah, you're right.
Ah,
Big fan. Big fan. Can't wait. Not on my
All right,
list.
episode 10. What's the name of the episode for starters?
Oh,
It's Make It Stop.
make it
Oh,
stop.
make it stop.
Make It Stop.
Yeah.
So we finally get Luthen's backstory, but the twist, which I think is masterful, it's actually really Clea's backstory.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Luthen's wrapped up in her backstory.
So what's the story? Okay, so what's the story? Because what war are they fighting? What battle? What's happening like outside the ship?
So
I mean, it's bad. Obviously, it's bad.
So we don't
But
find
what?
out, like I watched it again and I watched it with the subtitles on so I could see if they could say like what, we got his name. So it's Lear, which, Luthen
Mhm.
Rael, they flipped it. Um, but I could never get like a planet they were on or anything like that. Just that there was some things going down and Luthen had, witnessed something terrible and he was done with it. He was
Not
So
just seeing something. He's an Imperial.
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
he's
yeah. He's an
Imperial.
Imperial,
Yeah.
like, and I think what was his rank? Was he a captain? I think he was a
Sergeant.
sergeant. He is sergeant. So he's a sergeant sitting on the ship, not getting out, not wanting to take part in any of it anymore, and just listening
He
to the horror.
came back in
Yeah,
to the
Yeah, he
ship.
went back into the ship.
yeah. But
Yeah.
he was done. He was done, and we get everything from the perspective of Clea, who's hiding in the ship.
Mhm.
Yeah. Now, all of this happens after a lot of other things happen. So we kind of jumped ahead there because one of the things that we start off with is it starts off with our hero, maybe one of the greatest heroes of the rebellion who goes unsung, Lonnie.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Without a doubt.
Lonnie is burned. And Lonnie
Mhm.
is in a panic, and Lonnie is reaching out to Luthen, here's all the information, get me out of there. And he's telling him all about Galen Erso, who we know is a scientist
Yep.
who in Rogue One that helps build the Death
Right.
Star. He tells us about, but that he's got that name. He talks about the Kyber that they're pulling off of Jeddah. He's talking about the
Yep.
everything at Gorman with the Kelkite. So it's
Yep.
like he's got all the information because he's put it all together. We find out how he gets that information in a little bit, but he's got that information. He says, "This is real. I'm burned. We got to get out of here. You got to save me." And
His family. You got to save
and
me and
save
my family.
me and my family. And Luthen does give him the sweet release of death.
Yeah.
As we find out as he walks away, and a loth cat comes by and sniffs this dead body sitting on a park bench. So poor Lonnie. I think he got a raw deal because he really did sacrifice everything for it, and no one knows. No one will ever know because the next thing we see is Clea and Luthen talking, and he's like, "You need to memorize these words," and he's saying them to her, saying, "Shut up, you listen." He keeps repeating the words, Jeddah, Kyber, just going through all the words and everything, and saying, "You
Yep.
remember all these, and you better not forget any bit of it, because this is the information that we have to get out." And he says he's going to go back and destroy the controls, everything, just so they can get out of there. At that moment, I'm pretty sure Clea knows that, this is it. She tries to go back, but he refuses. He says, "No, I'll take care of it." He goes off and does that. And then we get one of my favorite scenes in the entire series.
Mhm.
So, Luthen's back at the shop pouring some sort of acid all over the controls. Everything's smoking up, and the bell rings for the store. He goes out there, and what do we have? We have Dedra Miro.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Dedra comes in there acting, she always wanted to, just very nonchalant. There's a great line by Luthen saying everything in this shop is legit. Something to the effect of everything
I
except
got
for
it.
two. You got it? Say it.
I
Tell me
got
the
it.
line.
All right. So first, First, she asks him, "Is everything real?" And he goes, "What a wise question. Forgery is the sad curse of antiquities. At the moment, only 2 pieces of questionable providence in the gallery." Any guesses?
Oh,
So
them.
a great line. It's such a
I didn't
fantastic.
pick that up, man.
It's so good. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm glad you had the whole line there, Dan. That was great.
Don't
So
go taking notes.
yeah,
Oh,
that was
that was
good
good.
because so that little chess game, that little cat and mouse thing is happening there, and she goes, "Hey, I've got something for you. Take a look at this." And she pulls out the Imperial, like, what is it? The
Star
tracker.
Path.
The
Star
star
Path
the Star
unit.
Path thing that was from the first season.
Yep.
And she's like, "I've been looking for this day." Oh, before that, Luthen shows her a knife. This is one of the
Mhm.
artifacts and everything
Yeah.
So he's got that knife. So what's going to happen here? Um, And she's like, I've been waiting for this day for years. We got you surrounded. This is it. Gigs up. And he just looks and he just talks about how he disgusts her.
Mm-hmm.
And do you have this line? Did you get the next line there then? There's
About the rebel has flown away. The
well, that the
rebellion
rebellion
has
is gone and flown away, and there's an entire galaxy out there waiting to disgust you.
Yep.
Which is another
I
great
didn't write
line.
that one down because I
Good
kind
line.
of knew that one, but yeah.
Yeah, and then she notices in the back things are smoking, and as she does that, Luthen goes and guts himself with that knife.
With the bloodletting knife
Yes,
of Kit Fisto.
of Kit Fisto.
So it's the knife is a bloodletting knife from it's like a sacrificial knife from
Yep.
the race of aquatic creatures that Kit Fisto
Is it
is.
okay? It's his race.
Yep.
I don't even know what his race
It's
is.
got one of them on the end, like pictured on the end of
Oh,
the
does
knife.
it? Oh, that's
Mhm.
awesome.
Oh,
Oh, I didn't
man.
catch that. I watched it multiple times too. I didn't catch it. That's
There's
great.
in the shop, there's so many little things that you probably miss, right?
Oh yeah,
And
yeah, totally.
The
so,
Jar Jar
like,
skull.
the Jar Jar
Jar
skull.
Jar skull.
There's actually one of the one of their shields too,
Yep.
from Naboo.
Yep.
And I think one of the spears. I think is in
Well,
there too.
There's also what is it? Indiana Jones' whip is frozen in carbonite.
That's what I
background.
heard. I never saw it. I never
Yeah.
caught it. I want to look that one up.
I saw a picture of it on Facebook.
Yeah, so
Yep.
the really cool one connects back into Ahsoka because if you remember at the very end where Balin's skull is on the mountainside where it shows the statues, it's the mother, the son, and
Mhm.
the daughter or the father, son, whatever. I'm gonna screw that up.
Yep.
There's a it's not a shield but sort of a crest there with that on there.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, and that one you
Another
can
galaxy, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, no, it's not necessarily from another galaxy because there's other places in Rebels where you see that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that like
yeah.
that. Yeah, it's the
Okay.
connection of world between worlds. Anyway, so that's cool. Anyway, so he goes. She freaks out because she needs him alive because
Mhm.
she's been screwing everything up, and we find out more of why she's been screwing things up a little bit later. But she's in a panic because this guy's got to stay alive. So the medics come and everything. Outside the door, we see Clea watching everything. That's when Clea then finally goes back to the safe house. And man, that place is
Mhm.
falling apart. That place is just water dripping everywhere, disgusting. No one's taking any care of that entire floor of that apartment complex.
Mhm.
And that's when she starts. That's when we get the flashback. So the flashbacks
Yeah.
start there as she's digging in the walls, to pull out communication devices to put together. So it's like 3 or 4 pieces that she puts together. Then once they're together, she starts Morse coding out to the rebellion.
Yep.
No, I know it's not Morse code, but you know what I mean.
Right.
Yeah, whatever the Star Wars Morse code.
Specifically, well, not necessarily the rebellion, but her cohorts that she's worked with.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Specifically,
Yeah.
Willman.
Yeah.
Yeah. And isn't it the same kind of unit that is it Nemec in season 1 uses to communicate, right?
Yeah, you know what?
But very
I
reliable.
think I screwed this up. I think I got ahead of myself with the communication. She goes to the hospital before she communicates.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah,
she does.
go to
She
the
does.
hospital.
She goes to the safe house first, and that's where it starts. It's going to start all that and everything. But then she's preparing to go to the hospital because she knows that she has to end Luthen. She has to finish that off because if he comes awake, they're going to torture him, whatever, give him some truth serum, and then the gig's up completely because he knows everything.
Mhm.
So.
Yeah.
So I thought Clea's like most badass moment was when she was pulling out the device in the antiquities at the party in the last arc or 2 arcs ago. This upped it like tenfold. Like
Yeah.
she's just amazing. And from what I understand, her name is Elizabeth Dulau. When they hired her, she was right out of acting school for season 1. And they didn't know what they had. And like, so Tony Gilroy like had her in this piece, and he's like, oh my god, I've got an actress here, like I can do something with her, and just like totally like filled it out and like really made her character pop the second season. So I mean, she's gonna be a superstar, like no doubt. Like we just saw at the beginning of somebody who's gonna go on to do some amazing things. I 100% believe that.
Yeah.
So where am I?
So
Go ahead. Go ahead, Jeff.
hold on. So my question is, and I know that Luthen didn't want to like harm other people, but like, why wasn't the process of burning burning down their office or whatever you call it? Why wasn't that more of like an automated thing? Like, he should have been able to like just push a button and just have everything like blow up or something. I thought that was a little interesting that he was gonna
But we don't know
do
that.
it by hand with this acid, and
So
you know.
he didn't finish it though.
Well,
Like
I know
he
he
wasn't.
didn't finish it.
So I mean, he's pouring the acid on it. Maybe it was like that's the first stage, and he does these other things to blow it up, and then he was going to burn the whole place down. But he had to make
Yeah.
sure that council did not survive. But it does because he gets interrupted. you
Yeah.
know. Yeah, no, I was thinking that too, but I mean that's my headcanon. My headcanon is, he didn't get to finish
He
it.
was interrupted. Yeah.
Yeah, because he was still pouring when the doorbell rang. So I'll go with that. So we're getting a lot of flashbacks of Luthen and Clea, where he actually says from now on, and we find out like So speaking of Elizabeth Dulau as Clea, but they go and find this amazing young actress that plays
Yeah.
her, like
Yeah.
this stone cold rebel.
Oh yeah.
That is almost as good as she is anyway. Like it was phenomenal. So they get this girl to play these parts, and like so going on these things, trying to escape, witnessing more atrocities by the Empire, including stormtroopers putting a bunch of guys up, for I don't know, probably stealing bread, and gunning them down in front of everybody in the town. And she wants to go and watch it.
Yeah.
She's not going to run from these things. Luthen's like, you're on your own. I'm going off doing that. Among other things, she's an incredibly good haggler. That whole scene was pretty good, where they've got some artifacts and everything. You can kind of see the beginning of like, okay, so they're going to get in like this whole thing of, trading antiquities and all this other stuff and kind of building it up this way. And this is like the early stages of that. That's how they're getting food and doing things along the way. And then the third, can we just talk about the flashbacks?
Yeah.
Yeah,
The one
yeah.
where
So
they
then
blow
the
up the
third-
bridge or whatever.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
Naboo.
and Naboo. Yeah, a little shout out to Naboo there.
Naboom.
Yeah.
It's Naboo.
Okay, so interesting thing. You guys remember Captain Panaka from episode 1? He was the one that was like kind of like the royal guard of Amidala
Movies.
Sure, okay.
in the movie
Episode
episode 1. In the movie
Mhm.
episode 1. And
Yeah.
so apparently his storyline is that he becomes a Moff of Naboo during the reign of the Empire.
Okay.
So he goes
Oh, really?
Imperial and everything. So one of the thoughts was just like, was he involved in that, or was he killed in that bridge getting blown up?
one.
So I don't know. Like maybe Pablo Hidalgo or something will have information about that, because just interesting little touch. But yeah, so he's teaching her like kind of the ways and like, hey, are we ready to go? Are you going to be this extreme? And she's looking like she wants to be that extreme because she's going to push that button. He hasn't quite let her, but he goes and does it. And that's something that then echoes later on while she's going into the hospital, because she goes and she's doing her sneaks into the hospital. And one of my favorite moments in all of Star Wars, not just Andor, is after she changes into the scrubs. She grabs the wheelchair with that little old grandma.
Oh, the old lady.
Not just a little old lady.
Okay, what are we gonna say? We're gonna say this is E.T.'s grandma.
E.T.'s grandma.
E.T.'s grandma. So she's pushing that lady around and into the elevator, and there's that quiet moment, and it lasts about 10 seconds, and she goes, "Ah!" And then she goes, "What?" And then the door opens.
Yep.
And then she
Yep.
just takes her off, puts her in a room, and then she's just working her way up to get to that floor because that floor has now been cleared by ISB. It's only Luthen on there, and she's working her way up and trying to get up into it. And that's where she then pulls out her gun and she's starting to shoot. No. That's where she actually lights it all up.
Yeah,
And so
but
she's blowing up the
Yeah.
parking
you gotta
garage.
get yourself too, because something important happened before that.
Oh, what'd I miss?
Deidre getting arrested.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes, that's right. That's right. Because one of the buddy of Lonnie, I forget his name, Rask or something like that. So Lonnie's buddy, he's come in and he tells him that I think does he mention that Lonnie was killed at that moment? He mentions that later when he's back at the ISB. But he's there,
So,
yeah, and he tells Deidre like, "What are you doing here?" and all blah blah blah, and like, you did this, you did this on your own terms. You didn't let anybody know that you were going to do this, and now it's gone to hell. You're under arrest. And she's like, "Whatever, let's get this straightened out." She walks off with them. That's right, that happens. So that clears them off the floor, and that's when it gets lit up by Clea. She blows up the whole section of the hospital. I think it looked like maybe like some docking, like wherever,
area.
like parking area. So probably didn't kill a lot of civilians, if any. Hopefully not. But hey, make an omelet, got to break a few eggs in a rebellion, right?
Yeah.
Orman called back.
Yep, there you go. What was it? One man's rebellion is another terrorist, I think was said in that. Anyway, so she gets up there, and then that she kills the one guy in the stairwell, and then shoots another stormtrooper, and then the final one she kills right in front of the door of Luthen's office, and or office,
His,
hospital room.
hospital room.
Yeah.
And she walks in there and ends Luthen's life with a tear in her eye. A bittersweet end because so much of her, like I was watching the behind the scenes and like how she felt the character was like as much love, she also had hate for Luthen because of what he did in the beginning, when she was a child. Even though he did redeem himself, there's still that. And it was also a father figure to her. And then it has the absolute slowest fade to black I've ever seen in the history of anything. Did you guys pick up on that?
I did not notice it.
Okay, watch it again. When he dies, it fades to black for about, I don't know, 17 minutes.
The breath goes out of him. The final breath.
Yeah, I didn't mind it. It was just like, man, that was a long fade. So, yeah,
that episode was just Luthen and her, right?
There's nobody else in it. No Cassian, no nothing.
Nobody
I mean,
else,
before that fade to black, because I think it actually ends going back to the room. Clea gets herself out of there and gets in the turbo lift before they catch up to her, and she heads back to the safe house, and then it goes back to Luthen, and then
we get a healthy dose of Imperials in this from a rebellion.
No other heroes. No other heroes.
Yeah. So I think one of the other important scenes is before the hospital. You have Major, what's his name, Deirdre's boss.
Find big deals at Best Buy this Memorial.
The guy who comes and arrests. I mean, we're terrible with these names. I didn't take notes on the names of everybody. Yeah. So the supervisor that comes to arrest Deidre and her boss have the whole conversation back at ISB headquarters, right? So what's the major's name? Deidre's boss.
You talking about the old man?
Yeah, dude, it's
Partagas.
Partagas, yeah. So Partagas is like, "Oh, did you hear? We've got Axis." Deidre went to go to arrest him, but we found that she's been going through some files, right?
Yeah.
And they think they're talking about the same thing. This other supervisor's talking about Lonnie being dead, and then they both come to the realization that everything's off kilter, right? And that leads to him going to arrest her. So he sends him to go arrest Deidre, right? Yeah. So that's the main thing. He's like, Okay, well, shit, I gotta start covering my tracks here, and start putting some blame on somebody else to go. He's gonna start laying it on Deidre, right? Because she's fucked up enough that she could take the fall for him, right? Which comes full circle later on. I think it's
Right.
the last episode when Krennic leaves,
When he
where they have the
questions her,
conversation
yeah.
together.
He goes and
Right? Or
questions
no,
her,
it's
yeah.
episode 11, right?
No, it's the next episode where we get Krennic
Yeah.
comes to talk to her,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
is one of my favorite scenes as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that scene is awesome.
It's
Yeah.
one of the most menacing scenes out there. And it just goes to show you that if you are in the military, you probably shouldn't be leaking things using signal chat. That's basically what happens here. So I mean,
Well-
let's just go into that scene. So we're in
I-
episode 11.
I think that scene. I was so bummed at that scene because she's talking about how she had to scavenge all these like reports and stuff to find Axis,
Mhm.
and she says, you question this guy on whatever planet, and he said something about antiquities, and that I had to go search to find that.
And they killed him. They killed him. So
Right, and they killed that
they
guy,
lost all the-
so you
yeah.
couldn't question him anymore, any further. And I was like, oh man, that was like probably like a whole sequence that they had like planned out for an episode or
Mhm.
multiple episodes. I'm like, oh, that would have been cool to see.
So
Yep.
So yeah.
kind of-
So exactly, like that scene comes in. It shows Daedra. We're in episode 11 now, and one of the main scenes with her sitting in that I guess it's an interrogation room, and
Yeah.
Krennic walks in behind her, and saying, "Yeah, so you got this information. You know some stuff. Say the word. And she's not saying anything. He's like, "No, say the word," and she says, "Death Star." And right
Well,
there, he's like,
yeah, because Lonnie accessed her files, and
"Yes."
the Death Star was in
Yes.
the files.
So everything that was leaked to her, she never said anything about it. She held on to everything so she could gather and scavenge that information. And Lonnie had access to it, and for the last 2 years had been pulling information from it. So as much as she had access to, he was taking that information. And I'm not exactly sure how he was getting it. I don't know if they necessarily made that clear.
I think he had
her basically had her password, right?
he had her password.
That's
but
what it
he
sounds
didn't
like.
act.
But they never
he
said
only had-
exactly.
Yeah,
He only had like 2
Did they?
hours, though. He said, I only had 2 hours. I went in, I grabbed everything I could,
Okay.
and what I found, I have to tell. Like, that's.
They call it like her. I forget what exactly they called it, but they said he tells Luthen, I had her credentials.
Was it? Did he say credentials? Okay.
He said something
Or
else.
like
I
his
forget
accent,
what it
like
was.
whatever,
Passkey
okay.
or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah.
he was okay. So, yeah. Unbeknownst to Dedra, but because Dedra held onto those files, she's now hosed. And Krennic's
Yeah.
got every reason to think that she's a rebel. And when he walks around, and Dan, as you were doing, places his finger on her head.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Apparently,
Yeah.
that bit was ad-libbed. And,
Really?
And
Yeah.
she was like legitimately like
I
stunned
could
by it
tell.
and everything. And it was pretty good. And then at the end, where he grabs her by the face and says, "No, I think we're done. We've had enough. I think we'll take it from here." And just kind of
Yeah.
gives her that almost kiss of death.
Mhm.
Man, Ben Mendelsohn, like, just I love that guy. I just like.
He's
Yeah, it's so good. But it's so funny how, like, all the things that he's so powerful, but then when he's up against Tarkin, how he
Mhm.
kind of gets manhandled by Tarkin later on, which we'll talk about
Yeah.
next week.
Well, in keep in mind, right? I think the naming of all the episodes are so well done. So this one is Who Else Knows,
Mhm.
right? And it's like 4 different themes going on. Who else knows about the Death Star? Who else knows that he's dead? Who else knows that who she is? That who else knows that they're going to come rescue her? Right? It's in every single episode is like this, so it's pretty masterful there how they weave the story together, right? With all the same theme, right? You got to get to the bottom of who else knows.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So
real quick. I thought it was real I don't know if Clea going and taking Luthen's life was worth the risk, because if she had failed and gotten caught, then the information would have never gotten out.
Well, I think, yeah. I mean, it was a risk for sure, but having him give up the rebel base was probably because she doesn't know how dire. She didn't know what a Death Star. She didn't know about what this is.
She didn't.
They don't know what
understand all
extent of what's going on, but they know that all these things link together and form something. Because also we get Bodhi Rook, the pilot who defects in Rogue One, is the one who like says, "Okay, now we've got it from multiple sources. You know, now we've got the link of Jen Erso. You know, or not Jen Erso, but Galen Erso. You know, and so I think like it would be a more legit, like a bigger worry and a bigger fear would be letting the rebel information get out, knowing where they are and who is part of the rebel alliance. You know, because that you know, you've got the senators and things like that that are just like hosed at that point. You know, but yeah, so we go back to Clea. Now this is where Clea is in the safe house, and she's putting together all the pieces. She does her signal. She sends the signal out, and then we go over to Yavin 4. So Yavin 4, another great scene. You've got K2SO playing cards with Melshi and Cassian. And that's a pretty funny scene, and I kind of like the way they handled K2SO in these, because they totally have his personality still in there. He's like so much more in your face and goofy in Rogue One, but this kind of, so I think that's kind of like why they kind of had to temper him, because he almost doesn't tonally fit Andor as well. But the way they kind of ease him in here and just have him in towards the end, I think it worked pretty good. You know, and he had some really choice lines, such as you know, are you two teaming up on me and cheating? You know, just like the whole card game. I guess they're playing Sabak or whatever. But
no, it's a brand new game they made up for Andor.
Is it
really?
About it, yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yep.
That's cool. That's really cool.
I don't know what it was called, but it is a brand new game.
All right, so it's like the third game that we've got, because we've got the Dejeric table in Star Wars, Sabak with the card game, and now we got this one too. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Wilmon though. Wilmon, he's still got the same girl, so you know, good for him. And he's got a limp, so he's not doing much more anymore. But he finds out there's a communication coming through, and he asks how long. He fires it up, his console, and he's getting a signal. And he just knows that you know, something's coming from the safe house, and it's something to do with Luthen, and it's bad. You know, it's just like, hey, help. They're it's an SOS, and he goes to them, interrupts their game, and says, "Hey, we gotta, you know, do something here." And Cassian seems ready to roll, and he, Melshi, and K2SO get in the U-wing and head on to the great K2SO. You know how many times you disobeyed orders? I could tell 17. You. He's like, no, 17. And then he goes, okay. He's like, no, let's take off. He goes, 18. I really like that.
Well, it's really cool though, like how at that point Cassian is like fully in the rebellion, you know.
But I mean, he's going against Draven, you know. So, and there's still not that connection, because nobody likes Luthen, and nobody's willing to help Luthen. But Cassian's like, no, we have to help them, because we don't have this without.
Yeah, right. None of this exists without him.
None of this exists without you, without him. And so he's like that one piece. He and Wilmon are those pieces. And Melshi, I think he's just he's going to be by Cassian's side no matter what, you know. And they go to Coruscant. And they end up going.
Can we go back real quick?
Yeah.
Just the whole like going against Draven thing, right? It's a mirror of the struggle between Saga era and the rest of the rebels, right? It's that fight between, oh, we're going to be this orderly army and force versus the guerrilla force where they just do whatever they want to get, because the ends justify the means, and it's the fight to, you know, between those two, you know, the two opposing forces within the rebels, right? And it's just another mirror of that. More duality, Duality is the theme of this show, man. Just like the fine line between Empire and Rebellion, or at least, subconsciously supporting Empire and, being a rebel.
Being a rebel or a terrorist, right? What's the difference?
Yeah,
Perspective.
exactly.
Um,
All right,
so
get to Coruscant, right?
yeah, they're getting a Coruscant. K2SO is told to stay in the ship. Not happy about it. Not happy. So
He's awesome. He's so
Melshi
good.
and Cassian are heading off to go to the safe house, find out who's there.
Like level
They sneak
27,
in.
right?
Meanwhile, in a great scene, they're tearing down Luthen's shop, and they get to the council, and that girl's reaction to like, oh look, and they were doing this and they were doing this, and like she's all like, and like the other guy's
She's
like,
super jazzed.
like read the room, man, read the room.
Yeah.
yeah. And she has to like call, like, because she's like totally psyched out about how awesome this was.
It is almost a exact call out from another Ben Mendelsohn villain scene. Ready Player One, and when all of the Sixers are gathered back in the Sixers headquarters, and they're trying to find the solution to the final video game. And there's the one girl gets really excited because she kind of figured it out and sees what he's doing, and she gets like really nerdy about it. And then they yell at her, "What are you doing?"
Yeah. Dial it back, man.
Yeah, and Ben Mendelsohn's also the villain in that one. So
yeah.
All right, go.
Yeah. So while they're coming to do the rescue, she's looking at all this, and they're trying to get everything active, and she's like, yeah, there's nothing I can do. The only way this is going to work is if there's a fresh signal. And just like that, Clea is still sending out that signal, unfortunately, which sort of gives off her location. So the Imperials sort of have an idea what's going on.
Why didn't she stop? Like, so this just shows how frazzled she is, because she's so thorough and so competent every other instance. She doesn't turn it off when Cassian shows up.
The walls are closing in on her. She's just completely.
I think she assumes maybe Luthen, and she might have assumed that Luthen took care of it and destroyed everything.
No, because not that. The communication device she was using, she didn't shut it off. She was just so frazzled, dude. She was freaking out. She knew her time was super limited.
Yeah. And she screwed up finally, which led to them closing in on her.
But she also had this like extreme fear of going to Yavin. Like she did not want to go to Yavin.
Not. She wants to just give them the information. So as they enter it, they get there and they realize, they get the whole Luthen's dead, blah blah blah, and she's like, hey, I'm going to tell you these words. And what's the name of the episode? The next, But anyway, it's those. It's that's the next episode. But she's like, this is, or do we even get in? Yeah. Anyway, I think we might have merged our episodes again. But anyway,
so why is she so scared of going?
Because they don't like Luthen. So they're not going to welcome her.
Well, because of what? Because he was like in the shadows, and he was like, like a spy kind of guy, and they were more like military or whatever.
It's like
CIA versus the military, right?
Yeah, or it's that Saw versus
sure.
Right?
But she was just, I don't understand. I guess I just didn't really understand that she was not part of their world.
But Cassian has the perfect answer to your question, right? Or to your, what you're talking about. And it was, he has a line earlier. Do you want to fight a war or do you want to win? Mm-hmm. Right? I think that was the line, right? Does that sound right?
He does say that at one point. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I think it's like the two, that's like Saw is like, we're gonna fight this. We're gonna burn them down as much as we can until we go down. And that's really what Luthen and Clea are all about. And that's what Cassian was all about until he moves over to the Rebels before he temporarily goes back, and breaks 18 rules to get out there, right?
Well, I mean, you gotta help your friends, man.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. So yeah, she doesn't want. She's just like, hey, I'm going to give you this information. You're going to leave me, and he's like, no, you're coming with. You're going to be safe. You'll be a hero. And he's just like, whatever it takes to get her to go.
Right, yeah.
But that's when the Imperials come in. I mean, there's a fun little bit where they get the wrong floor. I did like that. I mean, and it was kind of cool. You knew it was the wrong floor because it was all clean and everything when they're walking down the halls. But
Yeah.
when they do get on the right one, they're working their way in, and the guy leading it is the Lonnie's buddy who arrested Dedra. So and
Yeah.
he gets one of my favorite deaths
Mirt, by
because
the way, is his name.
what is
What's
it?
his name?
Mirt.
Mirt.
Yeah,
Mirt, that's
Mirt.
correct. Yes. So
Yep.
so Mirt's leading them down that hallway. They're doing stuff. K2SO realizes, hey, they shut down the communication. Blah 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 blah. I got to go and help. He's walking, doing his thing, walking down. Everybody's like, "Hey, did we order an imperial droid to come help out?" And he was like, "I don't remember that." He's like, "Hey, are you one of us?" He's like, "Nope," and just knocks him. I mean, that dude, he knocks him off a bridge in Coruscant. And if you remember, they mentioned what level. Remember, I'm like, "Hey, are they on like 1313?" That was like,
yeah.
no, they're not even close. They're at like 5400. Is like the level they're at because they mentioned the address at one point earlier when they're flying in. So that dude falls a really, really long way.
Real quick, can we segue back? I think Chuck made this statement last week, right? And it's in Andor, the K2 units are so much more impervious to anything than they are in Andor. So what's up with that? Because he takes multiple blasts.
I got this figured out. He doesn't take many blasts in this new one. I don't think he gets shot.
No, he held a dude up as a shield.
He holds up Mirt as a shield. Because he's going and killing, picks up Mirt and uses him as a shield. I don't think he takes a shot.
Gorman, they got torched on Gorman too.
Hang on. So in Gorman, this is again my head canon. They're using pea shooters. The Gorman people do not have any heavy weapons. None of them had heavy weapons.
Military weapons, because remember they hijacked a military shipment.
Yeah, but it doesn't. The Imperials could have left garbage guns on that.
It was like, and this type of guns that they're using, they're like when Jin shoots the KX droid in, she's using like one of the heavy blaster, like heavy trooper blasters.
Stormtrooper blaster.
Yeah, which are stronger than what they're using on. This is my head canon. I don't know. I'm just saying, and it works. And it allows everything to go.
Stormtrooper armor doesn't block anything ever.
It would if you shot it with like standard projectiles.
So I should call Will down. He was telling me about how this whole thing.
There was a book
that
in the extended universe they talked about it, like how the armor was originally designed, and like plasma rifles go right through it.
Headcanon, Andy Serkis is stuck on a factory prison making stormtrooper armor, and they're secretly defecting stormtrooper armor.
Oh, that could be.
So how I understood it is like the stormtroopers aren't really getting killed most of the time. So that how the stormtrooper armor works, it's concussive. So if they get hit with something, no matter where they get hit, like the entire armor absorbs everything and it knocks them out. So most of the time, those stormtroopers are getting knocked out cold. This is like one of the stories I'd heard. I don't really know. I should have Will come down and he can explain it all. So anyway, regardless, yeah.
Dude, we should interview him. We should just have questions and interview him. Like, hey,
he actually wanted to be on. He wanted to be on this, and I just didn't have the setup to get it technologically working yet. So anyway, yeah. So they get in there. They throw a stun grenade into the building. It blows. Melchi's okay. Cassian gets beat up by it, but it obliterates Clea. Like, to the point where I got concerned. I'm like, oh, you better not kill her. You better not kill her. She's my favorite now. And
she is awesome.
But K2SO comes to the rescue, and he's just punching fools, using was it Meerkat or whatever as a shield, slams him into a wall, kills the rest of them, and he's like, hey, I cleared a path. So they get her out of there. They head to Yavin. And when they get to Yavin, they're not so welcoming of her. and they're not really happy with Cassian doing what he did, but Cassian like lays out his plea, like I did this, because what we said already, Luthen was the reason that we're all here. We have to listen to this message. It's legit. Please listen and everything. I like what Mon Mothma does though. At that point, she says to Val, "Go talk to her, find out."
Yeah.
Yeah, and I really like the scene with Val and Clea because that's the scene where Val offers her coat and basically welcomes her into the rebellion
Yeah.
because she was on the edge. Like I'm like, is she gonna kill herself? That was like one of the things I was also like, is this character going to just off herself? Because she was done. She did not want to come back. She just assumed I'm going to give this message and I'm done and my life is forfeit at this point. I don't care. But now she's got some sort of comfort. And that kind of, it kind of ends her story a little bit.
Yeah. Hey, we skipped over a very important scene, the one I was referring to before,
Okay.
between Pradergas. Is it Pradergas or
Partagas. Oh, yes.
Partagas.
Yes, talk about this one. I know what you're talking. It's a great scene.
And Krennic, right? And we find out, number one, they're buddies. Because Krennic is talking to Pradergas by first name. His first name's Leo. We find this out, right? So they're like, yeah, we're totally fucked. You need to be on Scarif in like 2 hours, and I gotta go see if I can put a stop to this and find her before.
And he's like, good luck with that.
Yep. And so Krennic bails, and it's the way they on the spot with Mirk before that craft the whole, how are we going to find her, put her name out there, tell everyone she has a disease, so they'll want to save everybody. So pretty nice little scene there. Yep. And it also just kind of leading up, how does everybody get to where they need to be for Rogue One?
Right.
Yep. So and when we get to Rogue One, we're going to call back to this when we do our Rogue One episode.
Yeah. There's also the communication scene with Saw Gerrera on the Hollow feed, and they're all like, "Yeah, so we know you're on Jedha." He's like, "You don't know where I'm at." He's just like, "Yeah, dude, you're on Jedha." No, I'm not.
Instant internet meme right there.
Yeah,
that is like the most instant internet meme. It's already everywhere.
Yep, it's so funny.
Yeah.
So I like that. I don't know what else we got to talk about here. Where are we at?
Well,
what happens with Partagas? Let's talk about Partagas.
Well, that's the next episode. We're flash forwarding to episode 12.
Okay, start us off.
I think we're almost into episode 12 at this point.
Yeah, we've talked about some episode 12 stuff already. We've already crossed over into it. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
So we get a rebel count. We get a rebel count. We get a. Oh wait. First, no. Where do we leave off? Where does it start? Oh yeah, it starts with Saw Gerrera.
That's how it starts.
Yeah. Okay. So we get the rebel council. That's what I'm trying to say. The rebel council with Bail, Mon Mothma, who is now in her simple robes.
Yeah, her terrible haircut.
And her terrible haircut, yeah. And you know what? We should have started with Rebels season 2, episode 18 or whatever. We should have recapped that, the rescue of Mon Mothma by.
Well, that would have actually happened a year previous, though.
No, it would have
been last. We talked about it last week.
Yeah, I watched it, by the way. It was really good.
Yeah.
So we get the Rebel Council on Yavin 4, right?
Except no Dodonna. No Dodonna. Dodonna's not
no
there.
Dodonna. They were talking about how he
was off planet.
Yeah.
Yep. And we get Bail Organa's last. He's there in Rogue One still, right?
He's there. He stays there because he leaves, and that's where he hints at that Leia will be the one that'll help out. Oh, he's gonna go work with Leia to contact Obi-Wan.
Yep. So Cassian comes back with Clea, and everyone's confined to quarters, right?
Yeah, even Cassian, and that's where Bail actually goes and talks to Cassian.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they kind of finally see eye to eye because they really didn't really like each other too much before that.
Yeah. So so episode 12 is kind of low key, right? But I think has honestly probably my favorite scene, which is the downfall of Patergas.
Partagas, yeah, it's
Yeah,
great.
Patergas is great, right? So who was the other supervisor that the dude that goes in to arrest him?
I
What
don't
is his
remember his name.
name?
It wasn't. Yeah,
I don't remember seeing his name, but he played a major role in, especially that episode where, um, Mon Mothma escapes the Senate.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's the guy who's running the ops room,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So he comes in and gives him his moment to collect his thoughts.
with the
And
blaster.
the two stormtroopers are there, and you hear the laser blast. The stormtrooper's tense, and he goes, just put the hand down.
Hold up, just wait.
In case we need another one.
Yeah, it was pretty good. Pretty
yeah.
good.
Yeah, so I think a fitting end for him. And then everyone. It's basically the watering of the plants and everyone moving into position for Rogue One.
Yeah, because Tivik keeps on calling. That dude just keeps on calling. Like, what is going on? Why is he calling? But we find out in Rogue One.
Talk to Cassian.
That's it, just Cassian. And Tivik is one of Saw's people.
Right.
And we actually see him. I guess he's in season
plant,
1, and I don't remember 1. What do you mean?
He's a plant, though, right? Didn't Cassian plant him, or at least befriend him, so that they had a plant in?
Well, he befriends, like they have a trust with each other, and he's in Saw's group. Yeah, because that's all the Bodhi connection with the Bodhi the rebel, the Imperial pilot. Yeah. So have you watched Rogue One recently, Chuck?
No, I've been meaning to watch it. I watched it with Ellie a couple of years ago.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, the thing is, you're gonna find that it's like a lightning fast pace. It is like breakneck speed.
Oh no, it is
compared.
I remember that.
Yeah,
I remember that.
But yeah, there's some other cool things though, because I mean the where we see Dedra, so we see her and she's got like a very familiar orange and white garb on, and then as it pans out, she's got or a planet similar to it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think in the unclassified they say it's
Narkina. It's Narkina. Yeah. Okay, that's awesome. So I wonder what happens with her after the rebels win after Jedi, if she's still alive.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Try her for war crimes or just let her rot in the prison? Because you got to figure they're not going to have prisons like that in the.
Maybe she's General Hux's mom or something.
Shut up. So let's go to the very end. Let's jump. Should we jump all the way to the very end then?
Yeah, sure.
That would totally make sense that he's the creation of.
Well, Hux's dad is in a lot of like
head canon, buddy.
Right?
That's my new role.
Oh well, no, but Hux's dad is in, I think, Mandalorian. He's one of the Imperials, really? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, there's like a connection there, and there's like some stories like, and he is also like in those terrible like prequel novel or sequel novels that came out with Wedge and all that. Awful. Yeah, it's terrible. He's like a character in that. And he's right. So there's that. Anyway, all right. Do we talk about everything else before the very end?
So at the very end, it's like this montage. He's walking to his ship, and he's like seeing people, and he's like, "Hey, what's up?" And then
he's got the Cassian gear on for Rogue One.
He sees that healer chick, the girl, the Force healer, or whatever. And he meets her eye, and what you guys didn't notice, I guarantee it, that Cyril's mom was in the background getting boxes off that ship.
No, she was not.
I thought I'd get you.
I told you.
No,
I told you she was not going to be in this episode. These episodes, though.
You did.
You were right.
told me.
You were right. Yeah, I
So-
was trying to.
So there was one other scene that we see what happens, kind of what happens with Mon Mothma's.
Oh
husband.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah. He's with some other.
You know who that was?
That was their daughter's mother-in-law.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And
Yep.
so he is
Yep.
whoring around with her, living the high life that isn't so high, just kind of depressed and finishing.
Yeah, he
his
looked very
drink and
sad.
just downtrodden and miserable. Like just interesting.
Mm.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah. So that was a funny connection that the two of them were there. I forgot the guy's name. That was the one that they got all the money from though. Yeah. So there was that, and then I think that's it. I think we got them all.
And
It
then
really surprised
we go
me.
back to
What?
Mineral,
Yes.
Yeah.
And now the final
Yeah.
scene.
and we get our what happened to emo robot.
B2 emo living
Oh,
living
yeah.
life. Not even
Yeah,
asking
he had
about
a little
Cassian.
buddy.
Yeah, he's playing
Had a little
tag.
buddy.
Not
Yeah.
even asking about Cassian anymore. Like
Nope.
doesn't care.
He's
Nope.
been wiped.
Just living on his 2 minutes of battery charge, and that's it. He's kind of like, when you get like an RC car and you're like, ooh, you can play with it for 15 minutes, and you got to charge it for 2 hours. Play with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's B2 emo.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Those
but
are
then
fun.
we go to the field of wheat, and Bix is there, and she's holding something.
More duality here too, right?
So the legacy of Cassian Andor can live on. With
Maybe.
Yep.
I mean, it could be somebody else's kid.
Yeah, it could be, I suppose.
So
Dan, as you
Andy,
said,
I mean, I'm pretty sure it's clearly Cassian's.
it's
But
Cassian's kid.
Oh,
I would
yeah.
think so.
But I like, so I know it may not be true, but I like to think that it is, and he's probably my least favorite character from the sequels. That he is, what's his name?
Poe Dameron's
Poe.
kid.
Poe Dameron.
it's Poe Dameron because Poe Dameron is from Yavin. He's from Yavin 4.
He's born on
Well,
Yavin.
they maybe conceived him on Yavin 4 before she went to
I mean,
Mineral.
I suppose he could be, but I don't know. That seems dumb.
And she could go back to Yavin,
He's not even that good of a character. He's kind of a boring character.
Who, Poe Dameron?
Yeah.
But they
Kinda-
even kind of
He
look
like
alike.
rushes in. He's kind of like what is it, Carl Jenkins? Who's that guy that rushes in?
Leroy Jenkins.
Leroy Jenkins. That's it. He's like Leroy Jenkins. He doesn't think before he does stuff. I don't know.
I'm not arguing against you. I'm just saying they kind of look the same, they kind of dress the same,
No,
kinda-
everybody dresses like that. They all dress like that.
yeah.
See, he wears
anyways,
Star Wars clothes. They wear Star Wars clothes.
let's talk about the end of Rogue One and the end of Andor and the fact that you can line up, I believe, second for second, the destruction of Scarif with Bix holding the baby with the sun coming up.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
The two scenes are shot the exact same amount of time.
Interesting.
You can line them up and watch them both. And when she's holding the baby, that's when Cassian is holding Jin.
Ah,
So
Yeah, I could see that.
that's a good find.
I could see
I
that.
like that.
I can't say that I found it. I just saw it on Reddit. So
You
Right.
found it on Reddit, so I'm
yeah,
gonna
I
give you
found
credit.
it.
I give you
on
credit
Reddit.
for I'm gonna give you
Yeah.
credit for finding out what somebody else did research on.
Yeah,
That's fine because
Yeah.
I didn't go that far. That's pretty cool.
I
I'll
didn't
go to
find
that.
that. I didn't see that.
yeah, somebody
I like it.
posted
Yeah.
a above and below of the two scenes together, and they're like perfectly in sync.
I'm guessing that was by design.
So hey, before I got on here, I saw, and I don't know if it's true, but I saw on Facebook that Rogue One is the #1 movie on Disney Plus right now.
That does not surprise me.
Shocking.
Doesn't
It's not
surprise me in
shocking.
one little bit.
The freaking show was amazing. I mean, if you guys look at all 12 episodes, like
24
was very
episodes.
well, if you count the first season, yeah. I'm saying like there was very little fat. Like there was a couple of things you could have probably cut. But I feel like there's more stuff that you could have, delved into a little deeper, and than really what they cut. I thought it was really, 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 really good.
Yeah. Tony Gilroy said Rogue One is the third season of Andor.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's the cap. It's a perfect cap.
Mhm.
So
No cap.
So I think that's a pretty good recap of this season, though. I think we did a pretty good job. I think we should talk about Rogue One next week, and then
Yeah,
just kind of
absolutely.
maybe all our final thoughts on the whole experience of doing this, because
Yeah.
it's been a lot of fun. I don't know if we're gonna ever get anything as good in Star Wars as this again.
It would be very difficult, I think, to pull off.
yeah, like something of there could be I guarantee there's going to be stuff they're going, oh, that was totally awesome, blah 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 blah. But to have 24 episodes of something that detailed in my favorite era of Star Wars, in like
Yeah.
to flesh out like the rebellion in that whole thing in such a way, like I don't know. I guess you could make a story of Bothans that get the information for the second Death Star, but I don't know if that's going to be nearly as compelling. But I never thought that this would be as compelling as it would be either.
I got a question. What happened to Luthen's ship? Why didn't she just take Luthen's ship and leave?
They impounded it.
Probably.
I remember they impounded it, but
they were going through it. Weren't they going
Yeah.
through? Weren't they?
yeah, they were going through it at one point because they show like where his wig was and where all his rings were and stuff.
And then because I think it docked right
was
with
in
the.
shop.
It docked right.
It docked right into the
where
shop, and
yeah.
then it walked. Yeah, you can come
Yeah.
into it
Really?
because they
Okay.
were opening
So
up
why
those
didn't-
weird compartments on the ship. I think.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So why didn't he just send her out on the ship? Because they were.
Because she couldn't go back to the shop. It was too dangerous at that point.
Mm,
Yeah.
right. I just wanted to see the lightsaber ship one more time in action, man.
Yeah, there was a lot of show and don't tell in this show. Like he's got a kyber
That's
crystal.
awesome.
What's the story behind it? I didn't need it. I don't need
It's
a
awesome.
connection with everything. Nothing. It's again. This like speaks to like my love of Episode 8 and having the kid with force powers and having what's her name, Ray not have parents that are of any significance.
Right.
It doesn't,
Yeah.
and everything has to be connected. I don't have to have it be Palpatine's granddaughter.
Yeah.
I
No,
like
hell no.
breaking
Fuck
those.
no.
But
Yeah.
Luthen did say he needed the crystal back because it was like super important to him. So I would have liked to know.
Well, that
why.
could have been a test for Cassian. Like, if he gets his back to me, that means
Yeah, I think it was.
that he's
I think
like
it was.
somebody I can trust, somebody that's
Right.
gonna follow through,
Character.
following
Person.
through more than anything. Maybe that was what it was.
Hey, he never finds his sister, and that's a big.
And again, that's something that I was like, please, I don't care about the sister. The sister is off
No, I
and dead
understand.
somewhere.
No, I understand, but like, yes, yeah, but it's just like there are things left unanswered
So
in life, and just in everybody's life, they pursue things they don't always get an answer to it.
yeah, like I thought maybe at the end we'd see like the girl in episode 1 that helped him steal the TIE fighter. Like she would have ended up on Yavin at some point, but they didn't have that, And I guess like that's not like this is so like in reality in life, what are the odds that would even happen? So it's just like it doesn't. Like maybe she lived, maybe she didn't.
Yeah, maybe she
You know,
didn't get
so-
out.
Yeah, maybe they caught her. Who knows?
Yeah.
And I like. I like it. Like I'm thoroughly satisfied. I don't have any complaints about the show. Would I have liked to have seen Wedge on Yavin? Sure, that'd been cool.
Yeah, hell yeah.
I mean, whatever. But do I need it? No. And Gilroy said he's like, I only put the characters in there that I needed to tell this story. So he didn't go out of his way to put those things in there. So it's like you have to have Bail Organa because he's part of the story. You have to have him in there. So they had to recast. They couldn't write him out.
Right.
So there were things like that I'm good with, but yeah, nothing was egregious. And I don't mind a little bit of egregious. I don't mind a little fan service, but I don't have any complaints, man. It's A plus. I have zero bad things to say, except I wish there were more.
Everybody that I've talked to who has watched it has said the same thing. It's just so good,
So-
so done well.
So I have a guy that works for me. he thought the first 6 episodes were really boring, and he said he fell asleep during every single one.
One of my friends did say he felt the at least the first 3 were really slow,
Yeah.
and I was like, maybe.
Well, I mean, I get the same thing. I mean, I think when it comes to like some of my favorite shows, like The Expanse, I have a really hard time getting people into it. That's a hard one to get people into. I mean, you have to get through a bunch, and then like before it hooks you. I think like the 4th episode of that show hooks you, and if not, it's the 2nd season that's going to hook you. You know, and that's a lot to ask out of somebody. So it's like if you're not like invested into, you know. I know a lot of people that just like, hey, give me lightsabers and shoot 'em ups, and that's what I want my Star Wars, and you know, and that's the beauty of Star Wars, right? We talked about this with Skeleton Crew, you know, we talked about this with all the different types of things. It's just like if you just want old school stuff and you love Obi-Wan Kenobi, guess what? There's a whole show for you, you know, and it's got its ups and downs, sure, but you're gonna see Darth Vader and Obi-Wan Kenobi have a lightsaber fight. There you go. Skeleton Crew is going to give you your Goonies, you know? I mean, whatever. You know, it's like there are different flavors of Star Wars for everybody, and I think Disney's figuring that out. I don't know how much they're going to do now, you know? I mean, this is going to get Emmy nominations. I think this is going to get a lot of, you know, the first season got Emmy nominations. This is going to get a lot of nominations, though. And that is going to be like add some street cred to them. But other than Ahsoka, there is nothing planned for Disney Plus for on the live action. They've got 0 things planned. So I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do.
I think it's good. I think let everybody take a breath, right? We got 12 movies essentially. Mm-hmm. Right. Here
I have a baller idea. And I don't know if you can do it, but I would love to see it. But take those other 2 Han Solo movies that you were going to make and make a series out of that. That could be pretty cool.
Would that include the Lando thing that Donnie Glover was working on?
Yeah, freaking bring Lando in. Yeah. I think that could be really, really compelling.
I think where you're going to see most of the Star Wars content, at least in the Disney Plus verse, is going to be in the animated stuff. It's going to be
probably for a while,
the Tales of. It'll be the Darth Maul show that's coming out, things like that, which I also really like. You know, so I'm fine with it. I prefer the live action, but they could do so much with the animation so much quicker.
What if they did the Darth Maul show, but it was like a late night talk show, and it's like, hey, it's Darth Maul here. We're gonna interview
Club Shido. Here we go. Anyway, all right. Let's we've rambled long enough, right, guys? Let's save the rest of our rambling for Rogue One next week, and then
yes, absolutely. I'm very excited about it.
Yeah, I already watched it. I literally turned it on as soon as the last episode rolled.
I wanted to watch it, but this weekend got away from me, man.
I got through about half of it before I got busy doing yard work.
I mean, the first half is really the most important stuff because I think that's the stuff when you get through Jeddah. That's the stuff that mostly connects in with Andor, and the rest of it is just like then it's going to start connecting into A New Hope.
New Hope, yeah.
So, I might watch it again. I'm still actually my youngest son hadn't finished Andor season 2 yet, so we're about to watch we're on episode 8. So he's about to see the Gorman Massacre, and he got tired. He's got finals this week, so he's done with school after this week, and then. Yeah, man, they threw 5 baseball games on him in the final week of school.
Wow, that sucks.
So many. Well, I mean, no, it doesn't suck because he gets to play baseball, but it's just like
it's
finals
just
week. There's just a lot. That's a lot of stress at the very end because he takes his schoolwork very seriously. So
sure.
All right, guys. May the force be with you.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
All right, guys. I'll talk to you later. Thanks. Do subscribe, do all those things that we told you to do, and stay tuned after the credits for a little blurb I'm going to try to put on there. We'll see if it works. You'll know in the show notes if you should stick around.
Parting words of wisdom: do not share your code cert with anybody.
Is that what it was?
Exactly.
Code cert? It's the code cert. Yeah.
That's it.
You hear that?
That led to the downfall of the Empire.
Or maybe you should. Show your coach.
She just
certs.
had it on a post-it note on her
It was
monitor.
underneath her keyboard.
That
You
was-
just flip it
yeah,
over and it was right there. You know.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Peace out.